Thinking came along. So remember to read both numbers.
I don't have both numbers.
Both numbers of the page.
I don't have both numbers. That book has both numbers. The regular prayer book only has the regular numbers.
That one's hard to follow. Okay. I will do my best.
Ready? Oh, okay. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. And welcome to Temple Israel. Tonight is sort of a special Shabbat because we have two parts to it. It's the regular Torah portion, which is Terumah, and then it's also Shabbat Shekalim, which is about giving shekels to your community to support the community. So we'll talk about that more later. We are going to start on page 128 with Ma Yafeh Hayom. Ma Yafeh Hayom, Shabbat Shalom. Ma Yafeh Hayom, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Ma Yafeh Hayom. Shabbat Shalom. Ma Yafeh Hayom. Shabbat Shalom.
Yeah, mine 128 doesn't either.
Well, oh, do you have the, yes, but Joan looked like she had the, okay, Joan, could you come up and do the candle blessing, please? Joan is hosting the Oneg tonight in memory of your brother.
My brother, yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about your brother?
Well, he was a professional drummer. He played the drums for an African dance troupe called Ruth Beckford, and they did all true Haitian dances. He was the only person of a non-color, all bleached out, in other words, and they did authentic dance. And then he went down to Hollywood, and he was an actor too, and he liked to paint, and he worked for a lot of wineries after a while. And a really interesting guy, really great guy. He inspired me to be a full-time artist, actually, because I looked to him for how he was living. And
Very nice.
Yeah, but he passed away. It happens.
It happens. It happens to us all. Okay, we are going to do the candle blessing, which is on page 121 and 120. Joan, if you could read the second paragraph here before we light.
Okay, second paragraph.
Mm-hmm.
O source of light and truth, creator of the eternal law of goodness, help us to find knowledge by which to live. Lead us to take the words we shall speak into our hearts and our lives. And the last part?
Yes.
Bless all who enter the sanctuary in need, all who bring the offering of their hearts. May our worship lead us to acts of kindness, peace, and love.
Thank you. You light the candles. Okay. And after the candles are lit, Joan would like us all to join with her in the blessing. So first the candles will be lit. Thank you. Okay, and it's on page 120. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu v'mitzvosav v'tzivanu Lahadlik ner shel Shabbat. Amen. Thank you, Joan.
You're welcome.
Back up here. Okay, Josh, would you like to do the Kiddush? Okay. Josh will lead us. Josh will lead us in the Kiddush on page 123. Let's not bicker.
I'm arguing with the sound guy, I don't know why.
I don't know why either.
What, no sound?
No, we have sound. Josh is just arguing with the sound guy.
That's what you get.
Okay, page 123.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ritzvotav anu v'shabbat kodsho b'ahava uvratzon hilanu zicharon l'maaseh bereishit ki hu yom tehila l'mikra kodesh zecher l'tziat Mitzrayim Kivanu v'charta v'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim v'shabbat kodshecha v'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat. Amen. There.
No, it's not grape juice, it's Manischewitz.
It's
Grape
not-
juice would have been
not
better.
wine- It's not wine either.
Okay, now we are going to turn to page 138 and 39. And we are going to join together in L'cha Dodi, welcoming the Sabbath bride. And as is our custom, we will read verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. And we stand and face the door, if you're able, to stand and face the door to welcome the Sabbath bride at verse 9. Okay. L'cha l'cha dodi, likrat kala, penei Shabbat nikabela. L'cha l'cha dodi, likrat kala, penei Shabbat nikabela. Shamor v'zachor v'dibur echad, hishmiyanu el hamichad, Adonai echad, u'shemo echad, l'shem u'tiferet v'litehila la 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 la, l'cha dodi, likrat kala, penei Shabbat nikabela. L'cha l'cha dodi, likrat kala, penei Shabbat nikabela. Likrat Shabbat, l'chu v'nelcha, ki hi makor ha-bracha, merosh mikedem nesucha, sov ma'aseh b'makshavat achila la 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 la, l'cha dodi, likrat kala, penei Shabbat nikabela. L'cha l'cha dodi, likrat kala, penei Shabbat nikabela. Hitorari, kiva orech umiori, uri shir daberi, kavod Adonai alayich nigla la 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 la. L'cha dodi, likrat kala, penei Shabbat nikabela. L'cha dodi, likrat kala, penei Shabbat nikabela. Please rise. Bo'iva shalom, ateret bala, gam b'simcha u'sochola, Tochemune am segula. Boichala, la 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 la. Lachado di, likrat kala. Pene Shabbat nikabala. Lecha dodi, likrat kala, pene Shabbat ni kabbalah. Excuse me. Okay, please read with me on page 145. 145. Teach me, O God, a blessing, a prayer on the mystery of a withered leaf, on ripened fruit so fair, on the freedom to see, to sense, to breathe, to know, to hope, to despair. Teach my lips a blessing, a hymn of praise, as each morning and night you renew your days, lest my day be today as the one before, lest routine set my ways. And please join me on page 144 for the Hatzi Kaddish. This marks the end of our welcoming Shabbat in, and we will be starting after this the communal prayers. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divrach hirusei v'yamlich malchusei, b'chayechon v'yomechon uchayedecha beis Yisrael. Ba'agala, uvizman kariv, v'imaru, amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach, le'olam olam me'almaya, yisbarach v'yishtabach, v'yispa'ar v'yisraman v'yisnaseh, v'yishadar v'yishaleh v'yishalal, shemei dekudisha brichu, le'ela mikol berchasa v'shirasa, tushbechasa v'nechemasa, damiran be'alma, v'imaru, amen. Okay, now we will turn to page 148. Shelley, could you come up and read the English paragraph at the bottom of page 148?
Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who speaks the evening into being, skillfully opens the gates, thoughtfully alters the time and changes the seasons, and arranges the stars in their heavenly courses according to plan. You are creator of day and night, rolling light away from darkness and darkness from light, transforming day into night and distinguishing one from the other. Adonai Tsebaot is your name. Ever-living God, may you reign continually over us into eternity. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on evening.
Baruch atah Adonai, hama'ariv haravim. And I skipped a page. So please rise and join together on page 146 in the Barhu. Lai la lai 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 lai. Lai la lai 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 lai. Lai la lai 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 lai. Lai la lai 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 lai. Lai la lai 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 lai. Lai la lai 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 lai. Lai la lai 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 lai. Lai la lai 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 lai. Baruch hu et Adonai hamevorach. Baruch Adonai hamevorach, hamevorach leolam vaed. Hamevorach, hamevorach leolam vaed. You may be seated. We'll now turn to page 150 and join together in Ahavat Olam after I drink some water. Ahavat Olam Beit Yisrael Amcha Havta Torah u'mitzvot hukim u'mishpatim otanu limadita Al kein Adonai Eloheinu b'shochbeinu uv'kumeinu nasiach b'kukecha v'nizmach b'divrei Toratecha uv'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed Ki hem hayenu ve'orech yameinu uvachem negei yomam v'layla v'ahavatcha I missed something here. Al tasir mimenu le'olamim Baruch atah Adonai ohev amo Yisrael. I'm sorry. Okay. Okay, please. There's something here. There it is. Okay. Sharon, could you come up and read on page 151 as you taught Torah? This one here.
As you taught Torah to those whose names I bear, teach me Torah too. Its mystery beckons, yet I struggle with its truth. You meant Torah for me. Did you mean the struggle for me too? Don't let me struggle alone. Help me to understand, to be wise, to listen, to know. Lead me into the mystery. Baruch atah Adonai, ohev amo Israel.
Amen. Thank you. Okay, if it is your custom to rise for the Shema, please do so now. And we join together. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuso Leolam Va'ed. You may be seated. And please turn to page 154, which is actually in the Torah. It's part of the V'ahavta. It's part of the Shema, and it is the V'ahavta. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha uv'chol nafshecha uv'chol meodecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'eleh asher anochi mitzavcha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam B'shivtecha b'veitecha, uv'leftecha v'aderech, u'shokbecha uv'kumecha, u'kshartam le'ot al yadecha, v'hayu l'totafot b'neinecha, u'ktavtam al mezuzot beitecha, u'visharecha. Liman tizkaru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai, Vitem kadoshim le'Elohechem, Ani Adonai Elohechem, Asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim, liot lachem le'Elohim, Ani Adonai Elohechem, Ani Adonai Elohechem emet. Please turn to page 157 And Ellie, could you come up and read in a world torn by violence? Sorry to make you walk all the way from the back of the room.
In a world torn by violence and pain, a world far from wholeness and peace, give us the courage to say, Adonai, there is one God in heaven and earth. The high heavens declare your glory. May earth reveal your justice and love. From bondage in Egypt, we were delivered at Sinai. We bound ourselves to your way. Inspired by prophets and instructed by sages, time and again we overcame oppressive forces. Though our failings are many and our faults are great, it has been our glory to bear witness to our God, keeping alive in dark ages your vision of a world redeemed. Let us continue to work for the day when the nations will be one and at peace. Then shall we rejoice as Israel did, singing on the shores of the sea.
Thank you. Okay, and now we are going to sing as Israel did on the shores of the sea. Page 158, Mi Chamocha. Mi chamocha bailim Adonai, mi chamocha nidar bakodesh, no ra tehilot o sefele, no ra tehilot o sefele, ma'alechutecha rahu vanecha, Bokeyayam lifnei Moshe Miriam Zeli anu v'amru Adonai imlach le'olam va'ed v'ne'emar kifad Adonai Yaakov ugalo miyad hazak mimenu Baruch atah Adonai Gal Yisrael. Genevieve, could you read Let There Be Love and Understanding on page 161?
Thank you. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up waiting to do your will. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom aleinu, v'akol amo Yisrael v'al Yerushalayim.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
And in that prayer that Genevieve just read, the interpretation of, we are asking God to spread a shelter of peace over us. And we really need it these days. Okay. Now on page 162, we will sing Vishamru about keeping the Sabbath for God, but also keeping it for ourselves. The peace and joy of Shabbat should be with us always. V'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam berit olam. V'shamru l'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat La'asot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam berit olam. Beini uvein b'nei Yisrael oti le'olam. V'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat La'asot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam berit olam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai Asa Adonai et hashamayim v'et haaretz v'shamru v'nei Yisrael et hashabat la'asot et hashabat l'dorotam berit olam uvayom hashvi'i shavat vayinafash Shavat vayinafash, shavat vayinafash, v'shamru v'nei Yisrael et hashabat la'asot et hashabat l'dorotam berit olam. Okay, we have now reached the central portion of the service, the tefillah or Amidah. I will invite you to rise shortly, but first let's read together on page 165 the first 2 paragraphs. Pray as if everything depended on God. Act as if everything depended on you. Prayer invites God's presence to suffuse our spirits, God's will to prevail in our lives. Prayer may not bring water to parched fields, nor mend a broken bridge, nor rebuild a ruined city. But prayer can water an arid soul, mend a broken heart, and rebuild a weakened will. Okay, if you are able to, please rise for the Amidah on page 164, 166, 168, and 170. And then we will continue with to page 180 silently. And when you have finished your silent meditation, you may take your seat. Okay. Ananana, please rise. Ananana Adonai. Ananana Sfatai Tiftach. Ananana Ufi Yagid. Ufi Yagid Tahila Techa. Ananana Adonai. Ananana Sfatai Tiftach. Ananana Ufi Yagid Tahila Techa. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu Elohei Abraham Elohei Yitzhak Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor Ha'Manorah El Gomel Hasadim Tovim V'Konei HaKol V'Zocher Hazei Avot V'Imahot U'Mevi Gula Lifnei V'Neihem Leman Shemo Re'al Hava Melech Hozer Moshiach U'Magen Baruch atah Adonai Magen Avraham Ezrat Sarah Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai Mechayei HaKol Atah Rak HaHoshiyah Mashiach HaRuach U'Marid HaGashem Mechakel Chayim B'Chesed Mechayei HaKol B'Rachamim Rabim Somech Noflim B'Rofei Cholim U'Matir Asurim U'Mechayei Emunato Lishenei Afar Lichamocha Ba'al Yehurot U'Nidal Mehelach Melech Leni U'Mechayei U'Matzmiach Yeshua V'Ne'eman Achalas Hayot HaKol Baruch atah Adonai Mechayei HaKol Atah Kadosh V'Shimcha Kadosh U'Kadoshim B'Chol Yom Yichalu Chasela Baruch atah Adonai Ha'el HaKadosh. Please join me on page 180. Yehiyu leratzonim refi v'hegiyom libi lifanecha Adonai tzuri Adonai tzuri v'goali. May the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable to you, Adonai my rock, Adonai my rock, and my redeemer, Adonai my rock, Adonai my rock. Oseh shalom bimromav, Oseh shalom bimromav, Hu yaseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Okay, you may be seated. You can sit down. Okay, please turn to page 371 for the Mishaberach prayer, the prayer for healing. I have a list of names of people we know need our prayers for healing of body or spirit. And after I read these names, I will invite you to call out loud any names that you might know of. Okay, Joyce Salinas, Svetlana Lozovic, Fartak Chang, Elaine Kaufman, Doris Marks, June Lilly, Christina Knapp, Jean-Pierre Chalouche, Stacy Roberts-Orr, Jason Brooks, Larry Leishman, Cantor Pamela Sawyer, Anthony Morgan and Snyder Lilly. Are there any others? Joan?
Yolanda Alton and Steve Strobiano.
Thank you. Joyce?
Saad, Serena Saad, Vicky Young.
Thank you.
Amanda Riticelli.
Thank you.
Carlos Navarro.
Okay. Were you raising your hand, Josh? No, okay. Joy?
People of Ukraine.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, Miriam? Oh. Okay. Please join me on page 371 for the Mishaberach prayer. Mishaberach Avotenu Mikor HaBracha Laimotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mishaberach imotenu mikor habracha leavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. Okay, Shabbat Shalom, everyone. As I mentioned earlier, we have a double portion tonight, sort of. This week's Torah portion is about giving. Giving to God and to our world, to our community and to our neighbor. We read Parashat Terumah, which is Exodus 25:1 to 27:19, And for tonight, Shabbat Shekalim, which is observed on or just before the first of Adar, we read Exodus 30:11 to 16. The first of Adar begins tonight. Teruma covers the building of the Mishkan, the tabernacle. God asks each Israelite to give what they can to build what is meant to eventually be a permanent structure to house God and the Ark of the Covenant. The gifts being requested can be whatever the donor is moved to give: metals, wood, jewels, cloth, or the creative skills and physical labor necessary to build the Mishkan. Parashat Shekalim covers a census of the Israelites. The Maftir describes a census of the Israelites during the time that they were wandering in the wilderness. Instead of counting the people directly, each man over the age of 20 was commanded to contribute half a shekel toward the construction and upkeep of the Mishkan, the portable sanctuary, which was used until the temple found its permanent residence in Jerusalem. When all the money had been collected, one could calculate how many people were wandering together in the desert. This contribution was made annually at this time and is somewhat akin to our paying dues each year to maintain our synagogue. God asked the Israelites to bring gifts to the tabernacle. Teruma means gifts or something set apart for special use. But the Israelites were not wealthy people. They were escaping slavery in Egypt with little more than their lives and whatever else they could carry with them, and the jewels that they asked the Egyptians to give them. But we note that the Almighty does not specify what gifts should be given. Rather, each member of the community is to give what they feel is appropriate and that they can part with, whatever the heart moves the donor to give. This is different from being told to sacrifice an animal or to give a specified amount of grain or crops. Teruma teaches us how to make an intentional act of goodwill. Rabbi Anna Bonheim says, contemporary Judaism often connects this concept of gifts of the heart with action in the world. For example, when we perform Tikkun Olam, we may view those actions as part of what it means to live Jewishly. They exemplify Jewish commitment. In looking at that act of Tikkun Olam through the lens of Parashat Teruma, we might think of that same act as a gift to God, a voluntary service of goodwill that makes the world just a tad bit better. As it turns out, this approach of understanding acts of justice as gifts to God has an older basis too. Iturei Torah, an anthology of centuries of primarily Hasidic teaching and commentary, includes this. Exodus verse 2 of chapter 25 is the heart and substance of the Torah, tzedakah and good deeds. Jews often talk about Judaism as a religion of action. With this approach, we can consider our acts of tzedakah and gemilut chasadim, or good deeds, not only as the Jewish edict to fix the world as an end in itself, but also as a way of demonstrating religious commitment and spiritual connection. Rabbi Jonathan Sachs points out that the Mishkan was the first thing God had the Israelites make for themselves. God brought the plagues to Egypt, causing Pharaoh to let them go. God had parted the sea for them to cross safely. God had given them water and manna in the wilderness, but now it was the time for the Israelites to give to God. The Almighty was giving the Israelites the opportunity to experience creation by giving of themselves, their woods, fabrics, precious metals, skills. Rabbi Sachs says, for the first time, God was asking them not just to follow God's pillar of cloud and fire through the wilderness, or obey the divine laws, but to be active, to become builders and creators. And because it involved their work, energy, and time, they invested something of themselves, individually and collectively, in it. We value what we create. The effort that we put into something does not just change the object, it changes us. Tomorrow was also Shabbat Shekalim, the first of 4 special Shabbatot leading up to Pesach. The special Torah reading being read in many synagogues tomorrow morning is designed to remind people that the annual payment of 1/2 shekel to build and maintain the Mishkan, and later the temple, was due in Nisan, which is the month after Adar, and that they needed to get ready for this. Joan Bradis of Netivot Shalom wrote a very informative drash about Shabbat Shekalim. She says that the 1/2 shekel payment measured who was counted in the community as a census, as well as dues or taxes to support that same community. The Torah states that all who are enrolled in the community, or at least all men aged 20 and above, shall pay 1/2 shekel, rich or poor, the same amount, and it shall be assigned to the service of the Mishkan. Today we do not have a Mishkan or a temple for sacrifices, but if we want to be counted in this community, we still need to pay dues for the same reason the Israelites did. To support this synagogue and its staff, which is here for us, whether we come regularly for services or whether we only come at a time of crisis or special life cycle event. If we want our shul to be here for us, we need to make sure that the building is safe, that we pay the water and power bills. We pay our teachers, our rabbi, and staff, without whom we could not have a place to come together in this community. The Temple Israel community offers all of us opportunities to give of ourselves, both financially and by acts of social justice. We sponsor food drives to help the hungry. We support the Midway Shelter in their mission of providing sanctuary and shelter to unhoused women and children. We join in supporting Alameda's warming shelter, protecting our unsheltered neighbors during these cold, wet months by collecting the coats you probably saw in the foyer. We can join the Social Justice Committee in their actions addressing wrongs in our community and the world. And we can support our own congregation by donating our time and or money to fundraising drives such as our 105th anniversary celebration, making a pledge for the Legacy Fund, making donations in memory of a loved one or in honor of a special event in our lives. Some of us give generously of our time and talents, doing things like repairing the roof, helping with building repair projects, cleaning the temple before the High Holy Days, hosting an oneg, serving as lay leaders, serving on the board or on a committee, or volunteering your help for an event or an activity. We all have a gift we can share to make the world a better place for ourselves and future generations. Rabbi Erwin Keller writes, "We all have gifts. We give so many of them from the generosity of our hearts to make this a holier world. Some here have talents of music or art or words. Some have skills in nurturing or mediating or doctoring. Some have special qualities of patience or kindness or humor. These are our terumot, our contributions. Take a moment right now and think about one of your gifts that you give generously. Notice what that is and ask yourself when you will offer it, when you will use it to build a Mishkan to make this world holier." Shabbat Shalom. Okay. We are now approaching the end of the service. So we will turn to page 586 for the Aleinu. Is there anyone who is observing a yard site tonight who would like to come up and open the ark? No one? Oh, okay. Dr. Jen will come up and open the ark. And when the ark is open, please rise. Okay, please rise. Aleinu shabeach ladon hakol, l'teit gedula liotzer breshit, shelo asanu l'goyim haratzot, v'lo samanu kamishpachot hadamra, shelo sam chelpinu kahen, v'gor aleinu k'chol hamonah, v'anachnu korim, u'mishachavim u'modim, Lifnei melech malchei hamlachim, hakadosh baruch hu. Ne'emar v'chaya Adonai l'melech al kol ha'oretz. Vayom hahu yihye Adonai echad, u'shemo Thank you. You may close it. Thank you. You may be seated. Page 593. The light of life is an infinite flame. Like the Shabbat candles, life is kindled. It burns, it glows. It is radiant with warmth and beauty. But soon it fades, its substance is consumed, and it is no more. In light we see, in light we are seen. The flames dance and our life burns down in gutters. There is an end to the flames. We see no more and are no more seen. Yet we do not despair, for we are more than a memory slowly fading into the darkness. With our lives we give life. Something of us can never die. We move in the eternal cycle of darkness and death, of light and life. We join our families in remembering the loved ones whom we have lost recently and at this time in years past. May their memories be for an eternal blessing. Is anyone observing Shiva this week? Or Shaloshim? Okay, for Kaddish, people who passed in the last 12 months, we are remembering Karen Bell, Stella Campbell, Barbara Choate, Gabriel Fettig, Carol Foreman, Phyllis First, Arlen Golko, Morley Helfand, Audrey Hyman, Michael Hyman, Bruce King, Mark Klein, Kenneth Kaufman, Scarlett Lehman, Dick Levine, Marshall Minster, Brian James Newberg, Arona Oring, Lynn Seng Shostak, shouldn't be on there, and Adeline Spiker. Is anyone else remembering a loved one? Yes, Joyce? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. And for yard sites that are observed in this past week, our hearts join those who are mourning the loss of loved ones at this season in years past. Shirley M. Abrams, Michael Brodnitz, Goldie Falk, Joseph Flickstein, Fanny Jaffe, Maurice Cohan, and Kenny Minster. Are there any names that aren't on this list? Yes?
Mary Michael.
Thank you. Okay. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and comfort all who are bereaved. Please turn to page 599, and if you are able to, or 598, if you are able to rise, please rise. If it is your custom, if you are observing a yard site, and if it is your custom to recite Kaddish for those who have no one else to say it for them. Page 598. Yit Gadal v'yit Kadash Shemei Rabbah B'alma Divra Kirusei v'yamlik Malchusei V'chayachon uv'yomechon v'chayei d'kol Beis Yisrael Ba'agala v'zman kariv v'imru Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah Mivarach Le'olam Omei Omaya Yisbarach v'yishtabach v'yispa'ar v'yisroman v'yisnaseh V'yisadar v'yisalei v'yisalal Shemei d'kudisha b'richu Le'ela min kol birchasa v'shirasa Tush b'chasa v'nechemasa Da'amiran be'alma v'imru Amen. O v'yishmama Rabba min Shemaya V'chayim aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. Oseh shalom bimromav Hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. You may be seated, except for Lee, who I'm going to call up right now to take us through the announcements. Lee is our board rep tonight. Oh, it's there too. Okay.
Shabbat Shalom. You've probably noticed the coat rack, which is in the lobby, and the Social Justice Committee is using it to collect gently used coats to donate to the warming shelter at Christ Episcopal Church, the Women's Shelter, and Dine and Connect. So tonight is your last chance to donate, so if you can leave your coat behind. You can donate the gently used ones too.
If I can interrupt for a moment, the coats are going to be taken to the shelters on Monday. So if you have something that you haven't brought over here yet, you can do it this weekend.
Okay, so
There's religious school this Sunday, isn't there? Yes, so Sunday morning during religious school would be a good time.
Sunday afternoon, 2 to 5.
Okay, well, religious school isn't 2 to 5, but Sunday morning, 9:30 to 12:30, and then the library will be open, so you can bring it Sunday afternoon at that time. And there's Torah study at the library tomorrow, isn't there?
Yes, in the library.
Yes, that's tomorrow,
Yes, 9:30.
9:30. So 9:30 tomorrow morning.
So if you don't want to leave your own coat behind, you still have time to go home and get one. Thank you. It's not new. Thank you to David Forshaw for working the greeters table, and tonight's Oneg is sponsored by Joan DiStefano in memory of her brother. There will be a lay-led Torah study on Saturday, March 1st, here in the Temple Library at 9:30, is what you were mentioning. You can also participate via Zoom. The following Saturday, March 8th, it will take place via Zoom only. And Rabbi Minster's Torah study will also take place on March 8th at 1 p.m. in the Temple Library. It will be a continuation of the discussion of the book, How to Read the Jewish Bible. Rabbi Minster will be leading next week's Friday evening Shabbat service at 7:30 p.m. The Oneg afterwards will be hosted by Shelley Rosenfeld in memory of her father. On Tuesday, March 4th, the Social Justice Committee will be holding their monthly meeting at 7 p.m. via Zoom. All are welcome. And if you didn't know, Purim is approaching. This year's Hamantash and Bake and Pickup starts at 9 a.m. on Saturday, March 9th. You can speak to Allison about volunteering and look for the sign-up genius email to participate. Our Purim festivities are the following Sunday, March 16th. The community Megillah reading starts at 10:30 a.m. and our annual Purim Carnival with a buffet lunch starts at 11:30. And it says right here, you don't want to miss it, so don't miss it. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, thank you. Yeah, one of the things, it is important to look at the sign-up genius because we can't have 20 people in the kitchen. So you can't just show up. You have to look and see what slots are open. There are 6 slots per shift. I think shifts are 45 minutes each or something. So it is important to look at the sign-up genius. If you can't see the sign-up genius, I can try and do it, look at it over the weekend, not tonight, and let you know what dates or what times are open. Okay. To conclude our service, we are going to turn back to page 142, to Shalom Aleichem. Usually I start the service with Shalom Aleichem, but this time I'm ending the service with Shalom Aleichem. And this is wishing all the ministering angels to come in peace. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Barchuni l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzedchem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Please join us for the Oneg in the social hall. because, I mean, I'm reading from that same book. I'm reading from that same book.
I know, it just doesn't follow that page-wise, but I just did, I asked Eric which page.
I mean, I don't know if I'm reading from page 128 in this book, all the other same size book.